Let's bring in former Special Assistant for National Security to President Bush, Michael Allen. Michael, good morning to you. So the big question this morning is, where do things go from here? An indication came from Secretary of State Marco Rubio, who didn't close the door, says that he is hoping for a reset. Listen here.
I hope this could all be reset. I hope he comes to the realization that we're actually trying to help his country here before it suffers thousands of more casualties. Why is any of this good for anybody? And the argument that we're going to just keep it going forever, that's absurd.
Okay, so the best we have right now is a hope from the Secretary of State. And then when it comes to Vladimir Zelenskyy, he posted on X that the Ukrainians are ready to sign this mineral agreement, but he says that they need more, and he talks about needing a security guarantee to move forward. So what happens in the days and weeks to come?
Well, I think Zelensky's got to understand a little bit better where President Trump is in all of this. Trump wants to be in the middle of the two parties. He wants to broker a peace. So I don't think he's going to be able to get Trump to outwardly say at this point that he's unequivocally on Ukraine's side. We can wish that he were, but Trump wants to get a deal, and he feels like he needs to be the honest broker between the two parties. I think what Zelenskyy has to do is explain that he is open to peace. It's okay if he adds caveats that it needs to be a durable peace, something that's real, that won't allow Russia just merely a little window to rearm and reconstitute its armed forces. So I think there's a way back from last week's catastrophe if we can begin to just understand a little bit better about where Trump is and about where Zelenskyy wants to be able to take the war.
When you say where Zelenskyy is, I want to follow up on what Carly said. Zelenskyy said he's ready to sign, and that meeting, that blow up in the White House, he just wanted the Ukraine position to be heard. When you hear that kind of language coming from Zelenskyy, does that sound to you like someone who realizes he made a big mistake?
I don't think so. You know, I think he needs to find a dignified way to apologize or express some regret that he went tit for tat trying to debate everything during the course of the meeting. That's where he went wrong. He needed to just stay on message, if you will, say, I'm excited about the support that we're getting from the United States on this mineral deal, and just stay with that. He instead tried to go point for point, counterpoint, and that's what got him into trouble. You do that stuff behind closed doors, it's fine. Everything he said is fine, except the way he said it, and in that particular setting, understandably irritated the Trump administration.
All right, so the latest when it comes to the war in Gaza, Michael, is that Israel announced that it has accepted a proposal by Middle East envoy Steve Witkoff that would see half of the 58 hostages still in Gaza released on the first day, and would give the two sides until April to come to a final agreement. Hamas has not agreed to that deal, so Israel says that it's stopping aid. What happens next?
Well, Hamas is just going to have to decide whether they want to continue to go forward, because if they continue to delay moving forward with these hostage swaps, I think you're going to see Israel go back into Gaza and declare war again, if you will, on Hamas. Hamas feels like if they give away more hostages, they've lost all their leverage. And so this is a bit of a dilemma here. How does Israel move forward? And how does Hamas decide what their best interests are if they don't have any real break on the ability of the Israelis to come in and go back to war with Hamas?
A whole lot going on around the world, Michael. Thank you so much for joining us
Thanks,
this morning
Michael.
to break it all down. We appreciate it.